Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all.
Best Price is Right game!
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Bim, bum, ba, ba.
Ba-ba.
Bim, bum, ba, ba.
Ba-ba.
The official best theme song of all time, or second best theme song.
Second best. But
Second
the best
best.
game show.
But the best game show. Oh man, Hal, put yourself in this position.
Okay.
You're 11 years old. You've got the flu. You're home from school. You grab a great big bowl of Lucky Charms or Honey Nut Cheerios, the official best cereal.
Or C-3POs.
Or because you're a real dork. And you're not at school that day. No, because you have the flu. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. What do?
I put on The Price is Right.
Yeah, you do. I put on The Price is Right as an adult with frequency. And not just for the nostalgia. Today we are, of course, talking about what is the best Price is Right game of all time.
Yes, this was submitted by Joey. I want to say Reichert. It could be Reicher.
Joey Riker, like the island.
Reichert. Like the other island.
Right. Like the island that doesn't have a prison on it.
But
You know what that island has on it?
What?
Just
A
a whole
police
bunch of
station?
Price is Right games.
It's the island of misfit games.
Yeah. Games that never quite worked out. Plunko.
Yeah. When they tried
Cliff
to make
Faller.
the instead of a showcase wheel, it was a square. That didn't work. Only had 4 sides.
Yeah.
But
And you know what? And 3 of them were either that $1, the green 5, or the green 15.
the other one was the 0.
Yeah. Well, somebody had to get it.
Here's the interesting thing about Joey,
Yes.
who I do not know personally, but he
Uh-huh.
submitted this over email. And recently, I do check the email now, and he recently won $21,000
On The Price is Right? What?
Yes, I watched the video.
Oh, did he send the video along with this? I don't have access to the email account.
Yes, I will send it to you
Okay, good.
so that you can see it.
Oh, that is fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, obviously he's biased now because the game that won him the $21,000 is
Don't say
his
it.
favorite. I won't.
Okay.
I promise I won't.
Okay, good. But will you later on when we get to it?
Yes, I
Okay.
will.
All right. So let's just dive in and start because I'm real excited about this. I've been, I told, Hal right before we started recording, I had a ton of work to do today. And instead I sat in front of my laptop watching Price is Right videos because there are 75 games.
Yeah, it's
That is,
crazy.
can you imagine what backstage looks like? Like I've done shows where there are 4 or 5 scenes in the show, and even those will, your backstage is crowded with all the sets and props from the 5 different scenes. Can you imagine 75 games backstage just waiting to go on, just waiting for their shot?
I imagine that it looks like a cross between one of those antique shops where it's just a bunch of stalls. So it's like everybody's stuff.
Right.
And like some of them are organized and some of them look like the set of a Saw movie.
Sure.
And the other is it looks like Fred Sanford's house. Just a
The
mess.
Fred Sanford's house version of that, I tell you this, I would watch a horror movie that took place in the darkened warehouse behind CBS Television City where The Price is Right is shot.
Yes.
Have you ever been on The Price is Right?
I haven't. I've never even waited in line, but I've
Really?
always wanted to go.
I went, I was not a contestant. I was, in the audience. I sat right behind contestants row though. So we had great seats and it was very, very exciting. That studio, significantly smaller than you would think.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because they use those jib cameras that are like super wide angle lens. So it makes it look like the stage is ginormous. When in actuality, you feel like you're in a room that has not changed at all since the show premiered in, I believe, 1972.
What's amazing about it is it doesn't need to change. Like the visual language.
It is a
of the
perfect show. Its aesthetic is timeless and maybe went out of style and has come right back around into style again. Like, it really has not changed at all. You can watch footage from the 70s and it looks exactly the same.
Yes. Yeah, the shows, the games, many of the games are the same. I know they've added some, but the general idea of the game, which is a brilliant, maybe the most brilliant marketing strategy of all time, is to make a show where you are showcasing household products.
Yeah.
Ostensibly at the time to housewives. But now to anybody who is at home or who is there watching it and does shopping and stuff for the home. You get to see those things. You learn their prices. And it's all within the idea of these small, engaging games that you think I could win that. Yeah. I know how much, a jar of Peter Pan peanut butter is.
Yeah, sure. I know. So give me one extra roll. That's what the pricing games always seem to lead to extra chances at the big prize game. Now, there were prizes, but they weren't trying to sell Ashley furniture necessarily. They were trying to sell, Tide detergent. But getting the price of the Tide detergent correct would lead you to getting the Ashley furniture. It's always Ashley furniture. And,
Ashley furniture?
Yeah. What's that?
Have you ever had Ashley furniture?
I've not. I've never won on The Price is Right. Stop bringing it up, Hal. One thing that I love that you mentioned this, what it did was it showcased these prizes. It's as if in 1972 when The Price is Right first went to air, because network television, like nowadays television is much different. There's HBO and Netflix, and they are about entertaining an audience. You pay, you pay your money and you get the subscription to this thing where you are entertained. But broadcast television, the big broadcast networks have one job, and that is to sell you products that you don't pay for them. They're entirely paid for by advertising, and they want eyeballs on their screens. And the way to get eyeballs on the screens was to put compelling entertainment that would happen between these commercial breaks. Basically, The Price is Right went, oh, television is about selling products. Well, let's just make that the show, which it seemed like they just kind of took the idea of television and glorified what it was already doing and what it is still doing to this day.
Can you imagine the gall of that show that it takes commercial breaks? The show is an hour-long commercial. They're like, we'll be right back after a message from your sponsors. Oh, really? The Price is Right.
Yeah. You've been giving us messages from the sponsors this entire show. Yeah. Not only that, you've been giving us extra chances at the game from the sponsors the entire show.
Exactly. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I'm onto your charade. The Price is Right. You don't have to take commercial breaks.
Hey, Hal. Yep. This is The Price is Right, man. This is America's show. It's not a charade. It's a charade.
My mistake.
All right. Let's dig into this.
Okay.
I have, and I hope you don't mind my doing this. I did not want to talk about 75 games.
Who does?
There are a lot that loop back and forth. Some are very similar to others. So I went through and I picked, some of the most beloved games, and I got it down to about 20 of them. And I think we could probably cut that down even further and just cut big swaths of them out, at the beginning, but I don't want to give any of them short shrift. So, all right. So I have compiled a list. I've cut it down to about 20, and I think we can get even more off than that.
Okay.
Knock more off the list.
Yes.
So, a few to talk about first. I know it's not going to be any of these, but there are 3 games that are really amusing to me because they're 50-50. They're basically coin toss games.
Okay.
And they use them, usually it's the 4th game, when they're trying to like squeeze in a commercial break, or they're like, well, we have 90 seconds to play a game. For some reason, that slot always seems to be the really short slot.
Right.
So, and that is Flip Flop, Coming and Going, and Switch. These are 50-50 games. Flip Flop is, here's 2 digits and here's 2 digits and the price of a 4-digit thing. Do you want to flip these 2 digits, flop those 2 digits, or flip flop all 4? So I guess it's a 1 in 3 chance on that one.
Yes.
Then there's, of course, Coming and Going, which is a 3 or 4 digit number. And, you either read it in forward order or reverse order to get the correct price. And then there is Switch, which is 2 items are shown. And they're both roughly, 4 digit, prices. And it's, do you want to keep the same prices or do you want to switch them? Like these to me are the most coin toss. Which hand is the spaghetti in games? You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on.
What?
What is the game you're talking about where you have a handful of spaghetti?
Oh, it's from, shout out to Len Cella's Moron Movies. You never saw Moron Movies?
No.
Oh man, do yourself a favor and watch Len Cella's Moron Movies. My buddy and I, Brandon and I, when we were kids, we wore this VHS tape out. It was basically a guy who was making vines, but in the 70s. And he had a VHS tape of them that we would rent like once a month. We would rent this tape and just watch it over and over again. He had such classics as, Jell-O Makes a Lousy Doorstop, which you may have seen.
I haven't. I guarantee you, I may have seen a lot of these.
All right. I'm sure you have.
I have not seen any of them.
They actually used to play some of them on the Tonight Show. But anyway, those are not going to win. It's not going to be one of the 50-50 games. It's not going to be Freeze Frame, which is a spinning, which is 2-digit numbers on basically a big wheel spinning. And then when brackets that bracket 4 of those 4 of those numbers, 2 sets of 2 digits, comes around, you yell stop, and it stops there, and that's the prize. That's it. It's not going to be one of these. It's going to be one of the big flashy ones.
Yes, I agree. There is a good tension to those.
There is.
Which is fun.
Or like the game That's Too Much.
Right.
Which is just, you yell price, you progressively go up in price until you think it is one step beyond the correct price. At which point you say, that's too much. And they tell you whether you're right or wrong.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to talk about 20 games.
No, I don't think we do either. That's why I'm cutting through this swath pretty quick right now. There's also these 3 games. You've got, Money Game, Spelling Bee, and Punch a Bunch, which are all big boards with lots of digits, where you get to, where you get the prices right on some household items to get more chances of selecting from these, smaller, from this big board of choices, right?
Right. Yes.
Of those, Punch a Bunch is the most fun because you actually punch through the paper and see what the price is, what the price is.
That's a relatively new game.
Is it really?
I don't remember people punching through
You don't remember
bunches.
Punch a Bunch? Oh, I love Punch a Bunch.
Not
it was
when I was a
actually
kid.
the first pricing game only to award cash. You would punch through, paper dollars to pull out, whatever your prize was. I remember that one from when I was a kid.
Well, maybe it did exist.
But it's not going to be any of those. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about now? You remember it? All right.
Well, all right. I know we're saying what it's not going to be.
Right. And by the way, I hope you're also doing what I'm doing, which is deleting these on this, piece of paper or this, digital piece of paper in front of us as we go.
I'm definitely not.
Okay, great. I am.
What do you think? What do you think makes a good Price is Right game?
I think, first of all, I think it's got to have high stakes, which means it can't be one of these games where you're going to win I hate to say a small prize, but like, a $500 or $2,000 prize. It's got to be one of the ones where, who's it doing it now? Jeff Davis that's doing it. That's the announcer for it. It was Rod Roddy previously, but it's going to be one of those games where the announcer yells, "A new car!" right before you get your chance to play. Or in the case of one other game that we will get to that everybody is thinking of as soon as you saw what the title of this episode was, that you can't win a car, but it is the game that people get the most excited about playing, which we will get to.
Here's another question.
Okay.
Because there are 2 games that are not included here.
Mm-hmm.
Are we excluding the wheel, that you spin to get to the Showcase Showdown?
I think we have to.
Okay.
I think we have to exclude the wheel that you spin to get to the Showcase Showdown and the Showcase Showdown itself.
Okay, that was the other question. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody ever, to the best of your knowledge, had a clean sweep of the game? And this is what I mean. You have to perfectly guess the price initially, because then you get the prize. Then you have to win your game. Then on one spin on the wheel, you hit $1. And then you correctly guess the exact price on the Showcase Showdown and win everything. Has anybody ever done that? I know people have done those individual things.
Right. I don't know if that's true. I actually just looked it up. I just looked it up to see, and there is nothing, there's nothing that comes up. In fact, if you type all of those words in, one of the early things that comes up is, at least here in, Quebec, chimney cleaning, more than just a simple sweep. But it might have been because I put the word sweep in there. And Price
chimney.
is Right. And their slogan is, Quebec chimney sweeps, the price is right.
Do you think they don't know about the show?
I
It's
don't
on there,
know.
right?
I don't know. Are you allowed to do that? Just take something else and be like, I'm a fan of that. Now it's mine.
Yeah.
Ask
Yeah,
the Verve. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, too soon?
Never.
All right. So
Right.
because, let's get back to what it's going to make a great one. And because I think we are using this one criteria, let's play this like it's a game of Guess Who.
Okay.
Now that we've made that a criteria, there are a lot of games we can eliminate from this list, including Safe Crackers.
Wait,
which
hold on.
is-
No.
Okay.
I love safe crackers. You
Sure,
open
safe-
a safe. and you have
Safe
to know the
Crackers is
combination.
Safe Crackers is fun, and the set is definitely the biggest, craziest, most elaborate set they have. But really, all it is just a proscenium that they pull out and put in front of a pretty good prize.
Oh, do you want to tell everybody how they put Christopher Reeve on wires so he wasn't actually flying in Superman the movie? Where's the magic, Mark? Where's the magic? How are you going to ruin all of these?
Yeah, I'm gonna ruin all of them, Hal. You know what? In cliff jumpers or cliff climbers or whatever it's called, a dude doesn't really fall off a cliff and die. That's just plastic.
Whatever. Just because every game is on casters doesn't mean it isn't a good game. For goodness sakes.
Man, next time I have game night, I really want to just have a bunch of assorted board games on, dollies and just like scooch them into the middle of the room when it's time to play them. Okay, guys, we're gonna play Cards Against Humanity now. Just wheel a little Cards Against Humanity box out on a dolly.
A new game.
Do you really want to leave Safe Crackers on the list?
I just love safe
It's
crackers.
fun. The thing is, I went through all these games. All of these are great games. They're really fun. Like, they're fun, cool games.
Yeah,
And-
and look, the beauty of these games is that they harken back to the midway of a county fair or a state fair. That
Right.
they're games that feel like they're skill games, and then they mix in the actual skill of knowing the price of household items and cars and luxury items.
Which
So it's a
is
really
great because it's
compelling
not,
mix.
anybody can be good at that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not
Yeah.
like Jeopardy where you have to be a super brain to do this thing, or American Ninja Warrior where you have to be a super body to do these things. No, everybody can know what the price of things in the grocery store is.
Exactly.
Which is why this is, as we figured out with Jonathan Colton, the greatest game show of all time.
Absolutely. I will let Safe Crackers go.
All right.
I didn't want it to just whimper into the night.
Here's another one that is going to go, but is also great. And that is, Clock Game. Because Clock Game, you're never really playing for a huge prize, but Clock Game to me is such a nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the Clock Game?
I do.
You get
do.
30 seconds and a bunch of prizes, and you have to guess the price of a prize. Or you have to guess the price of the prize, multiple times within 30 seconds with Drew Carey or Bob Barker yelling higher or lower. So let's play a quick version of it right now. You ready?
Okay.
And we're not going to do a price just because there is a can in front of me. I am going to just pick any. Okay, here we go. A 3-digit number. You're going to guess the last 3 digits of the UPC symbol on this can. Are you ready?
Yes.
30 seconds. Go.
495.
Lower.
493.
Lower.
324.
Higher.
379.
Higher.
392.
Higher.
404.
Higher.
417.
Hal, I'm going to stop you right there. You're pretty terrible at this game.
What? I was getting
Yeah.
close.
You were getting close, but you got to go in big swatches in this game, Hal. You got to go 1 higher, 1,000 lower, 200 higher, 800 lower. You know, you want to narrow it down, brother. You want to narrow it down. You don't want to go 399 higher, 400 higher, 401. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a UPC code. It's going to be it's not going to be 200.
It's the last 3 digits of a UPC code. It could be any 3 numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did a great job.
You're terrible at the Price
You're
is Right.
terrible.
I'm never taking you to the Price is Right with me.
By the way, the best part is that Gary, who's playing the clock game in the example video that the Price is Right has posted, is wearing a T-shirt that has hole in one on it.
Oh, that's great.
He's not playing the game he wants to play.
I don't know if hole in one doesn't get you a car, does it?
No.
But hole in one is not going anywhere. Hole in one is there are some on here that are iconic classics that we will get to.
Hole in one is iconic. Yes.
Hole in one is iconic. Here's another one that I don't think is going to win, but is it's one of those ones where if you get it, you get all 4 of these fabulous prizes. And it is the race game. Do you know the race game?
Yes. Yes.
Describe the race game.
You have 4 different items and 4 different price cards, and you have to run around and assign what you think is the right price to the right item. And then you pull a lever and it tells you how many you have right.
And you get as many chances as you can do.
Right. But you have to, you have a time, there's a time limit. This is why it's the race game.
Right.
What do you have, 60 seconds? Something like that?
Something like that. But it's great because these people everybody that goes on the Price is Right is already super amped up. Their energy is insane. You get interviewed as you're walking into the Price is Right. And, they pick the craziest, most insane, energetic people to go on that stage.
Yes.
So you've already got all this pent up, wound up energy inside you. So watching people race around and slip and fall and try to put prices and dive it's always a very, very exciting game.
Agreed.
But you don't win a car. Nobody really screams about it, so it's not going to win.
Okay.
How about, let me take a look at what we have left. As far as games that I don't even know. Now I'm looking at, here's what we have left. Now that we've whittled it down to, we've whittled it down to 11. So let's eliminate one more, then we'll have a top 10. We'll go to break and we'll come back with those. How's that?
How about I whittle it to a top 4 right now and then we take a break and come back?
You think you can whittle it down to top 4 right now?
100%.
Okay.
I'll give you a top 4. If you disagree, we'll continue and get to a top 10.
Okay.
If you agree, we take a break. How's that for a game of chance?
Ooh. All right. Let's do this.
Okay. Number 1 is Plinko.
Of course. We all knew that one. Sure.
Let 'em roll.
Okay.
And hole in one. Or 2. And you could switch out the dice game for the card game, frankly.
What, the card game, is it higher or lower? There are a few games that basically just use high or low.
Yeah.
That would be, the dice game. You roll the 5 digits in the price of a car and you pick high or low around that, which is kind of the same as Lucky 7, where you get 7 $1 bills and you rattle off digits to the car price one at a time. And whether you're higher or lower, you have to give the dollars back. The best of the high-low games, I think, is More or Less, which is just 4 prizes and you're just playing high or low 4 escalating times. And the last one is a car. But I think you are right in that.
Well, then in that
so
case,
you've got Plinko,
yes,
Cliffhangers,
yes,
Let 'em Roll,
yes,
and Hole in 1 or 2.
yes.
Oh man. Shout out to Dice Game and the fact that Aaron Paul once lost that game.
Yes. There's nothing funnier than seeing Aaron Paul on that show because he definitely took the note. Be
Go
high
big.
energy.
Oh yeah.
He went big, not going home.
And also another game where you can just be a little bit off is One Away, which I love because you yell out, to the studio, "Hey, sound effects lady, do I have this many numbers right?" And she'll go, "Honk, honk," if you do, which I love, but it's not going to be that. There's of course, any number where there are, the digits 1 or 0 through 9 all on the board, and whichever price gets filled in first, that is the one, whichever prize, on a board gets filled in first, that's the one you win. First game ever played and first game ever played on the show in 1972, last game Bob Barker ever played. Shout out to any number. Pathfinder, where you walk your way to a car. Amazing. Not going to be it. Hal, I think you're right. We're going Plinko, Cliffhangers, Let 'em Roll, and Hole in 1 or 2. And when we come back, we will determine which one of these games is the true winner.
I listen to Reading Glasses because Bria and Mallory have great tips.
You're a comics reader and you want to use a library-connected app. You can try out Hoopla.
I listen for the author interviews.
I'm mad at myself that I waited as long as I did to start reading Joan Didion.
They give me reading advice I didn't even know I needed.
If you go in person to an event and go up to an author or a filmmaker or anybody and tell them what you don't like about their work, you're a trash baby.
Look, I understand you didn't like Heroes Season 3. That's fine. I don't actually need to know that information. I'm Bria Grant.
And I'm Mallory O'Mara. We're Reading Glasses and we solve all your bookish problems. Every Thursday on Maximum Fun.
Welcome, everyone, to the live wrestling spectacular in Los Angeles.
So far, the world's most boring wrestling podcast has been destroying the competition.
Isn't there anyone who can save us from this travesty?
Wait, could it be?
It's Tights and Fights, the perfect wrestling podcast.
Tights and Fights is here to save us from the monotony of boring wrestling podcasts with hilarious conversations.
Woke trips through the history of wrestling.
And joke about the finer points of people wearing spandex. What a match!
And the Tights and Fights podcast will be back every week.
Thursdays on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get podcasts. Please, these hosts have families.
Tights and Fights podcast. Tights and Fights.
All right,
Hal.
Yes.
We made it through that first half. I'm going to apologize to the listeners. I realize that this is such a visual show, The Price is Right, that the first half of that, I'm not going to lie. I felt that whole first half of the episode like someone just explaining a comic strip to a person who doesn't care. Is that why you rushed it along?
Well, I mean, I feel like I know what our top 4 is.
Sure.
So why
well, you were correct.
Yeah.
So I apologize. Now we're going to have some fun. You ate your broccoli. Now we get our dessert.
I feel like dragging you to the final few is like putting a cat in a carrier.
Well, I don't want to give short shrift to anything because I love all of them.
Just doesn't mean you don't love it. Just means they're not the best.
Oh,
can they all be the best?
No. You know why?
Why?
That's too much.
Sound effects lady. Can you have more than one best game? Honk. All right.
Let's do it. All right. We're going to pick the best game. We've got Plinko, Cliffhangers, Hole in 1, and, Let 'em Roll. Interestingly enough, I know I said earlier that it would probably be one of the ones where they yell, "A new car!"
Right.
Of these, there's only 2 that are new car games. You want to talk about those first?
Sure.
Great. And those 2 are Let 'em Roll and Hole in 1 or 2. Or 2 was added in 1986, apparently because not enough people were winning this game.
Well, that one you have to guess prices correctly, and the more you guess, the further, the closer you can get to the cup, and then you
Right. If it was the further you got away from the cup,
Right.
I would just guess, how much is this coffee maker? 6 cents. Nope. Move closer. So dumb. Yeah, that one was the one that let the world know that Bob Barker was a great golfer. So that particular game, I think, is what gave us the famous movie quote, "The Price is Wrong, bitch."
Yes, that is true. We wouldn't have seen his love of the game of golf. I love that game exists because I feel like Bob Barker is probably like, I like golf. Can we make a game out of it?
Yeah.
Because
he always got it.
Because he always wanted to show. He's like, oh, let me show you how to do it. Even though everybody's like, well, there's mini golf. I'm well aware of the general.
No. I have to show you how.
No, I mean, I'm fine. You can just.
But well, look, get up here right in my face. Do you know whose show this is? Do you know who you're messing with? I will have you spayed or neutered.
Okay, go ahead and show me how to putt.
All right, let's show you how to putt. Pricing gets you closer and closer. Winning the pricing games gets you closer, and you're putting for a car. That's what you're putting for.
Yeah.
In that game, a great, amazing classic. But here in this final four, it's duking it out against another classic car game, and that is Let 'em Roll. Now, Let 'em Roll is basically Yahtzee. You roll dice, you keep the ones you want, and then you re-roll the other dice, and you're trying to get 5 car symbols. Now, there are 3 car symbols per die. I always loved this game because it has such a fun drum roll built into it.
Yes.
The set is cool. It's these big dice tumbling down what looks like a stairway that has turned into a slide, potentially because of, that one spell from Harry Potter that turns stairs into slides.
Sure. Glissando?
Well remembered. It's just kind of, here come these 5 beautiful dice, like they're Gloria Swanson descending the steps at the end of Sunset Boulevard and cascading to the bottom. And if you don't roll 5 dice, this is where this game was brilliant. On the other 3 faces of the die are either $500, $1,000, or $1,500. So it winds up having that extra element of that Monty Hall thing, that let's make a deal. Now you could keep the money or gamble that at this opportunity. That I think is that I think, gives this game an edge over Hole in One or 2 because of that extra little, you have to make a decision halfway through.
Your description of that game was so poetic. If it were me, I just would have said, I like the big foam dice. You get to throw them and then they flip around and you see what's showing on them.
If it's got a yellow car symbol, you get a car.
I want a car magic dice. Let me throw you down this slide. Wee! Have fun,
Glissando! Or Glisseo.
No, I turned them back into stairs. I said glissando. Yeah.
Isn't a glissando when you do like the Liberace thing up a piano?
Yeah, or a harp.
Yeah. No, if you do it up a harp, that makes you go back in time.
Oh, that's
not a lot of people know that. If you do that up a harp, you and the harp will go back in time.
There's only one harp. We just keep seeing it at different points in time.
Sure. It can be in all places at once. Yeah. So that to me gives Let 'em Roll an advantage over Hole in One or 2. I would like to say that won this particular, if this is the AFC and the NFC championships we're having right now, I think that just won the AFC championship.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I do love, the golf one is always funny to me to watch people try to putt from really far away.
Yes, of course. And also Drew Carey sucks at putting, so it's hilarious to watch him try. He could never get it in.
No, he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Like they kept that game that Bob Barker liked. If there was a thing that Drew Carey did well, he's like, can't we do like a foosball version or something? I'm real good at foosball.
How about one where I insult Mimi? Could do that.
Oh, man. If Mimi just popped out one day as one of the Barker's beauties, or what's it, the Drew Crew now? What do they call them?
Is it the Drew Crew? I have no idea.
Something
what they
like
call
that.
them now. Yeah.
I don't know, but shout out to him for having some dudes up there now.
Yeah.
Give the ladies some eye candy too. It's only fair. All right. So we'll move Let 'Em Roll. That won its championship. Now let's move on to the NFC championship of this. And this is 2 games duking it out. This is, I'm not going to lie. These are the 2 juggernaut teams.
Yes.
Right here. So maybe this should be the AFC championship.
Where did the Super Bowl championship come from?
Was it the NFC?
Yeah, it was the NFC.
Remind me who won the Super Bowl?
Oh, I'd be happy to. It was the Philadelphia Eagles. We all we got. We all we need.
Has the Philadelphia Eagles also got their insane, terrifying murder mascot yet?
Yeah, we have a bald eagle, a natural predator.
There you go. I hope that bald eagle natural predator goes after Gritty and the Philly Fanatic and rids the world of those 2 terrifying monsters.
Philly Fanatic is the greatest sports mascot of all time, and Gritty was blessed by him at a Phillies game recently. So there's no going back from Gritty. Gritty is in your life now.
Ugh, Gritty is so horrifying.
Let me put this out there. When's the last time anybody talked about the NHL? Never. Now everybody's talking
Dude,
about the NHL.
I live above the Montreal Canadiens hockey arena. So there's a lot of people talking about the NHL just in the building I live in.
Yeah, just there.
Right. It's only here.
Talking about the Molson Center, right?
The Bell Center.
Bell Center, Molson Center.
I think it used to be the
Toronto.
Molson, or maybe, the Molson Center's Toronto. There you go. I don't know these things.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I could
but
be wrong too.
Big surprise. A hockey arena in Canada is named after Molson. But we're going to talk now about the 2 games that do not offer cars as prizes. And yet, this is how great these games are. They do not offer cars as prizes. And yet, when a contestant hears that they're going to be playing one of these 2 games, they freak out, even knowing there's not a car involved.
Sure.
One of them is Cliffhangers, which everyone knows, the yodeling mountain climber.
Yes.
You have to guess the price of 3 prizes. And, you have to be within $25, of the total, you can only be off by a total of $25 because for each dollar that you are off, the mountain climber climbs up one of 25 notches on a mountain.
Right.
This game is remarkable because of its song. It is remarkable because of the tension of knowing is it the only game where they kill a character if you get it wrong?
They do murder all those dollars in the Punch-Out game.
Oh, that's true. Right. And then they kill a golfer if you screw up hole in 1 or 2.
Actually,
all right, bring out Vijay Singh.
Oh no. After every taping, they euthanize the dice.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Oh.
They have a illegal dice farm underneath the studio.
Oh man. And as they're euthanizing them, the executioner yells, "Let them roll."
Oh. I take back.
It's got really sad all of a sudden.
Yes, it did.
And so that is Cliffhangers, the tension of watching this man climb this cliff.
Yes.
And it's just such an iconic image of The Price is Right. So much so, in fact, that it was a bit on Family Guy once. They had the family of Family Guy climbing the mountain with the, yodeling mountain climber. And of course, the last game we're going to talk about, is the one that every contestant freaks out when they hear they're going to play, and that is Plinko.
Sure.
Plinko, where you have to get prizes. You have to guess the prices of everyday items in order to win Plinko chips, which you climb to the top of the Plinko wall, drop down the wall, and like a giant pegboard, not like a giant pegboard, a giant pegboard, finds those chips bouncing around into slots on the bottom, that are, designated. Is there a 10,000? There's a 10,000 in there, right?
There is.
There's a $10,000. There are multiple $1,000 slots. You can get up to 5 Plinko chips, so you can win up to $50,000 in the game of Plinko.
Yes, you can.
That game, to me, is The Price is Right. It is visually a perfect representation of the aesthetic of The Price is Right. If you close your eyes right now, you can hear the sound. You know exactly what Plinko sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Close your eyes. Listen. Hear those Plinko chips falling.
I hear them.
You hear them, Hal?
I do hear them.
Okay, open your eyes. We have a podcast to finish.
Huh?
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Were you daydreaming that you were winning at Plinko?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. It was beautiful.
So, what do you think, buddy?
I mean, I'll be honest. Plinko is a very, very exciting game. Mm-hmm. And it's a game that you completely understand what it is probably the most midway of all certainly the games that are left. And maybe of all of the games, the idea of you drop something down and then it plinks around and then lands somewhere and hopefully you get a prize.
That's where they got the name. Okay.
And the, Joey, who submitted this topic, won $21,000 on the Plinko board.
Well done, Joey.
Good job. Here's the other part, though.
What?
You get chips for guessing the price of items. Mm-hmm. And that is where the skill portion of this game ends.
Yes. But that's where the skill portion of all of these games ends. Guessing prices.
Right. So
that's the one thing you do on this show is guess the price of things.
So in that case, would the ultimate game be the one where you actually are able to get the price right and win?
Okay.
In which case,
it would be cliffhangers.
You would close your eyes and hear, I
don't know, man. I don't know if, I mean, you do have to get the price right in order to succeed at Plinko.
Right.
Here's the thing of Plinko to me that I think puts it over the top in this head-to-head battle. We may find something else when it battles against Let 'Em Roll, but I think in this battle of Cliffhangers versus Plinko, Cliffhangers, there is as he is climbing and you're hearing that song, that is when you get that tension. And that tension builds and is palpable. But in a game of Plinko, that tension, that sort of like heart flutter joy you feel, edge of your seat, will they succeed in this? You get that so many times and for so much longer. And at such a more random way, because it can go anywhere. Look, there is going to be a randomness in any of the games in The Price is Right that win. Or in any of the games of The Price is Right at all. But there is no, yes, Cliffhangers is iconic. But I think that Plinko, of these two, I think Plinko is going to have to come out on top. What when'd you turn into Sling Blade? What's happening over here?
Mm-hmm. One time I saw a mountain climber. I'm begrudgingly agreeing with you.
Why begrudgingly?
Because I love that Cliffhangers game. There's something so iconic about it. It's got music to it. And it really is the only skill game out of these three.
How is it a skill game? And how is it any more of a skill game?
Because if you get the price right, you win.
Right.
It's not you get the price right and then you have to spin a roulette wheel 5 times. You could walk away from Plinko with nothing. Although last year, 2016, somebody won $31,500 and they were the
most anyone's ever won on Plinko.
Until last year when a woman won $39,000.
Oh.
So,
yeah, but if it were just about guessing a price correctly, then it could have been any of these games that we talked about before.
I know. I just like the Mountain Climber. That's the game I would want to play if I were on Price is Right.
I would love to play the Mountain Climber game. You can win a trip.
No, you're not allowed.
It's usually a trip.
You're not allowed. The Mountain Climber
I'm not allowed to
hates
play
you.
Cliffhangers.
If you try and play Cliffhangers, he'll run up and jump off himself.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He'll just run up to the top. Oh, I don't feel like living. Gagliardi is going to play this game.
Yeah.
Do you think his song is the prequel to that Goofy sound?
It's gotta be.
That,
I wish that was the noise he made when he fell off.
I'm pretty sure that Disney would sue the pants off of CBS.
Yeah, that's fine. It'd be worth it. Just once.
Hal.
Yeah.
It's Plinko.
Yeah, it is Plinko.
Now let's put Plinko up against Let Him Roll.
Okay.
And Hal.
It's Plinko.
It's Plinko.
People of the world. You knew it when we started. Here's a fun fact to give you a little inside baseball for this people of the world. We use something called TriCast to record. They do not give it to us for free. But maybe now that they're going to hear this, they will not hear this. They'll give it to us for free and we'll become just the faces of TriCast. But when in TriCast, we each have our own name in the little virtual studio. And Mark's name when he started this was, it's Plinko.
Of course it's Plinko. You knew it. Everybody knew it was Plinko. Give your shout out to the people of the world, Hal.
All right, fine. Shout out to all of you. Plinko is the greatest game in The Price is Right. People of the world, in a field of 75 plus games, Plinko beats them all. And if you are going to stand over here and tell any of us, why are you standing in front of us? Why are we all in this room?
Yeah. There's a mic. I can't get to my mic.
Yeah. Get out of the way. We're trying to record a podcast. Please. This is very rude. If you're going to invade our personal space and tell us that Plinko is not the greatest and that you don't want to drop those chips down to that Plinko board, just talk to Joey, one of the people of the world who won a cool 21 grand playing that game. I assume, Joey, that half of that went to us in the form of a Max Fun Drive donation. And thank you for that.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you so much. We haven't seen that money yet, but we're hoping, it takes a while to process a large amount of money, a lot of red tape around it. But the point is, you knew it going in. So we've just, solidified in your mind the thing you already knew, which is that the greatest Price is Right game is Plinko. Asked and answered. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey, not only for the suggestion, but also for your generous contribution of half of your winnings to the Max Fun Drive. This topic is closed, but there are many more topics to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets, or check out the Maximum Fun subreddit, or
go to our email and send one to us. Go to your email and do it. Don't go to ours. Not going to give you the password. It's wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com. That's the address where you can send your topics. Obviously, we are getting them now because that's how Joey got on here. Also, you can go to the Facebook group. Talk about Price is Right. Post videos. Have a good time. That's facebook.com/groups/WeGotThisPodcast. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, QA engineer Jen Alba, and graphic designer Uri Kilman.
Thank you to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, our listeners. I've only got 3 words for you. Come on down. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Best Price is Right game. Sorry, I have a can of Eau Pétillante, which is Canadian for sparkling water.
Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
It's Canadian for sparkling water.
Yeah. It's Canadian. Well, in American, it's sparkling water, but in Canadian, it's Eau Pétillante.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.